T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome to episode 62 of the Play It By Ear podcast. Welcome.
62.
Please sign in. As always, audience. Savannah Brown with us. Hall of Famer. All right. Want to thank Howard McLean last week once again for being here in Todd's stead. Things went well.
Howard.
We had a good time. Josh's or Josh. Yeah, I saw Josh Michael. I said Josh. Hello, Josh. Howard, regular in our audience, and I'm sure he'll be here tonight. He generally is, unless something's going on. But again, thank him. And again, Todd is back from his Florida Day vacation. Anything good to report from the Sunshine State?
It's Florida.
You seeing family down there, seeing the brother and the
yeah.
sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
Did you see any pork pie?
I love Florida. I did see a lot of pork pie. They were very playful, swimming. I would say a few hundred feet from us. So
When I was on the Gulf a couple weeks ago, I had the rare honor of when we was playing I Spy to kind of keep the kids quiet. I spotted a pork pie as we were driving slowly in traffic, and it's like, ooh, dolphin. So I was happy.
And most people know my fear of sharks, and so funny. We go to the beach, and Celia, myself, and the kids, we are going to have some lunch at a restaurant there at the beach, and my brother and then one of his friends, they were going to go ahead and go into the beach for a little while. So we sit down at our table that just happened to be facing the ocean, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a fin. It's there's some distance. I'm like, okay, maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. I look up, and I'd be damned if I don't see a fin. And I'm like, okay, it's real. I see a fin. So, and you know, obviously you can tell the difference between a shark and a dolphin because the dolphin, the dolphin kind of raises.
Instead of like this.
Yeah, and so, but there were a couple things blocking my view. There was a pier and a couple. Like a walking path. There were things blocking my view, so all I see is a fin, and then the fin disappears. And so I texted my brother, and I said, I know you're going to think I'm just being paranoid, but I really did see a fin down there. And he texted back about 10 minutes later and said that they'd already seen they were dolphins, nothing to worry about. But it was just the perfect mixture of what I didn't need to see, because I could only see about at least in front of my eyes, a few feet as far as left to right. So all I see is a fin come up, and then it swim away. So for all I knew, they were sharks, but they weren't. They ended up being dolphins.
I'm glad you made it through unscathed.
Yeah, and I learned something else about dolphins too. That when you're watching them, when you see them doing they're playing, they don't seem very big. They seem pretty small. But then we were on the pier looking down, and one of them just happened to be below us and kind of rolled over, and it showed its belly. And so it was more.
You're a D's.
It was more straight as opposed to the humped back.
Yeah, Yeah.
And they're much bigger than what I realized. Sizable.
From snout to tail.
From snout to tail, yeah, very sizable.
All right. Don't mean to ignore Brady Liming. Brady Liming with us here tonight.
I will not be ignored.
Or not be. Welcome, John. Miss Wilson. Todd, is that your new Floridian look?
Yeah. Well, I wear a lot of fedoras, but I did buy this one in Florida just for that reason. So this is the only one I own that is woven, or whatever you call this material.
Weaved. Woven.
Weaving.
Howard.
Hello, Howard.
Howard
Thank
with
you,
us.
sir.
Darcy James.
Darcy.
As far as I know, Darcy's a first timer. Welcome. And I would say there are 14 people in our various rooms right now. Please sign in, because I'm always happy to talk to people, and they always say, "Well, how's the podcast going?" I listen, and I put it on when I'm doing laundry, or I heard that one this week. But there are people in the room, and we don't know you're in the room unless you comment. We see a number. We don't know who all those numbers are, but like I said, comments, we can say hello if nothing else. You don't have to comment any other. You can just listen, obviously, but certainly we want to know you're there. Sarah with us today.
Sarah.
Welcome, Sarah.
I made sure I sent out plenty of invites and a crash commercial message this morning.
Mr. Heron, welcome.
Howdy, howdy.
Gary Troutman, yo.
Hello, Gary.
MTV Raps.
Ed Lover. and
Ed
Dr.
Lover.
Dre.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Thanks, Howard. Who was great job last week, Howard. Thanks for filling in, bud.
Stephanie Rhodes with us. Welcome.
Stephanie.
Who was Ed Lover's partner in on Yo MTV Raps?
Dr. Dre, but not
Dr.
that one.
The other Dr. Dre. Yeah.
The other Dr. Dre. How'd you like to be the other Dr. Dre?
And you know what? That's when the what was the name of his famous The Chronic? Was that the album that broke Dr. Dre? When that came out, I thought, oh, the OMTV Raps guy, totally not him.
Yeah.
So-
I remember thinking that too.
Miss Wilson never thought she'd hear say Todd was sporting a weave.
Come to think of it, I wouldn't have thought that either.
Yeah, I was joking around before we went on air. I'll have to model my beach bucket hat that just happened to be beside my chair. Looks like a cross between beekeeping and I don't know, Gilligan.
All right, to those in the audience, to those who are watching, who will be watching or listening, if you've never been here before, we all come to the table with a topic. We talk 20-ish minutes on the topic, and as we always say, it's more on the ish side than the 20 side, but it does provide some sort of structure, as little structure as we have here, but we will talk at length on a topic that we've never discussed before the show. So, I guess I kind of made an executive decision. I put us in order on the screen that we'll be presenting our topics. I, as usual, will have a game to round things out. And Brady will lead us off. Todd will be in the middle. And again, I will round it out. So, with that, Brady Liming, your 20 minutes are moving.
I have the floor.
You have the floor.
Okay, so what we are going to do, this is going to be kind of light and fun, but also thought-provoking and probing. And what we are going to discuss, there's tons of shows about conspiracy theories and, conspiracies, YouTube, top 10 conspiracies, but, most of them are pretty much readily discounted. But every once in a while, there's some legit conspiracies that, people can wrap their heads around. And we're going to be kind of talking about conspiracy theory that we actually believe. One that we can wrap our head around. And I'm going to kick it off by starting with mine. And this is one I truly believe that as a Ute, I never knew it was a conspiracy. It wasn't until much later. But it was about, I believe, the 1982 NBA draft. It's either 81 or 82. When the New York Knicks won the lottery where they would, like, depending on how bad your record was, they were called the lottery teams, and the worse your record was, you get the more balls and the like the bingo thing that, like, they do bingo calling thing, or the lottery, you know, with the ping pong balls floating around. Well, the New York Knicks, if I remember correctly, had the best of the worst records. They were the last lottery team, the first team eliminated from playoffs, and there's many that believe that the NBA conspired with the New York Knicks so they would land Patrick Ewing.
That was 85.
85, yeah.
1985.
Really? Is it that
Yes.
late?
Because if you remember, Villanova beat Georgetown for the NCAA championship in 1985.
Yeah.
What was it? 1982.
Ed Pinckney.
When Ed Pinckney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ed Pinckney's Villanova. Yeah.
Yep.
What
Future
was
Boston
82?
Celtics.
The year that Michael Jordan's North Carolina beat Georgetown.
82, yes.
Yeah. See, for some reason I was thinking, but that was Patrick Ewing's like freshman year. He was
Freshman
he was
year.
around a couple years after that, but that's when he entered, you know, my world of sports fandom. But but so many think that because New York is a big market team, there are a lot of people that think that that was rigged. That and it's not just it's because there are a lot of people on record saying that the fix was in.
Yeah, I believe you can you can find footage online of I know you can, of that draft, and that would have been that was before the draft got big. That was still, like,
Right.
the draft was in like a break room of it was
Of a hotel, the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, it wasn't a big to do, but I believe you can find some footage out there that might sway your opinion one way or the other, whether you believe that or not. But I think, wasn't there the deal where they said that something about bending the envelopes?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. And, you know, like I said, it wasn't on my radar at the time. It wasn't until I think I saw an ESPN 30 for 30 or something. It was like from a legit news source. And then when I started digging into it, I really believe that happened. That was one that I do believe, because there seems to be a big paper trail.
Yeah.
So,
A little side question here, but would you put Patrick Ewing on your top players to never win a championship? I would put him in my top 5 list, probably.
yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
definitely. And, you know, part of the reason because he was stuck with the Knicks,
Yeah.
you know,
Correct.
had he gone other places.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a conspiracy that I'm totally behind. I believe that somebody, and I think that will be confirmed in our lifetimes. That, you know, was David Stern the NBA commissioner back then? Before
believe
somebody
that was-
passes away.
Yeah, because David Stern was the kind of the driving force behind the draft, lottery, and the whole idea. You know, we kind of owe it to him for getting the
Making an
lottery
event.
and the event is, you know, to
Yeah.
the size that it became. But yeah,
Right.
I say thumbs up that most likely happened.
So I don't mean to be like a spoiler, but I totally forgot. I got all excited, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to throw it to you, the jury, and the audience. So we'll kind of do the thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you buy it or not. And I give that one a thumbs up. I believe that was rigged.
I buy it.
Yes.
I'm giving the Bill Clinton thumbs up there. I just realized that. Not quite showing you all the thumb, kind of. Yeah.
Just the tip.
Just close, but no.
Yeah, right. I see what you did there. So are you just throwing different conspiracy theories out there for vote, or are we all chiming in?
Well, I'll hit some, and then I want you guys to speak up. You know, like if there's
Organic.
one, it is organic. Would you fellas like to tackle one before I go from a list?
No, I mean, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
All
I
right.
don't have any off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But
Okay. Let's go with this one. Moon landing faked.
Are you saying you believe that, or are you putting it out for vote?
I'm putting it out for vote, but I can tell you,
get it.
Eric, yeah, I give that one a thumbs down. just just basically all he had to do is look at old Buzz Aldrin, and when he was in his 80s, and he punched out a dude that asked him, "Why'd you fake the moon landing?" and it elicited a reaction enough to him where he decked the guy. That should tell you all you need to know.
I think what I would like to know about that, and maybe this would be a good thing to dissect as far as all conspiracy, whether. Why do people not believe that? What do you know what I mean? What is the driving force? What is the catalyst for believing that was all faked? What?
I would say just general distrust of the government.
Yeah, because in preparation, my end of preparation for this show, I actually read an article. Who believes conspiracy theories? There's a little bit of a profile. Everybody kind of, will delve into one, but there is a profile, and it's not always exactly what you think it is. And they said it's not a slam dunk. There's different, varying degrees, and it's not like the FBI can make a profile of a conspiracy, or a psychologist can make a conspiracy believer. But there are certain things. But disaffected and mistrust is definitely.
I mean, I am typically I'm down. I'm in the middle. I believe a lot of conspiracies. I disbelieve a lot. I don't know that you could trust the government any less than I do, and I still think it's foolish to think that it was just made up that we landed on the moon. I guess maybe it's because of my age. I don't really know. I just don't know what would have been gained by.
I think it was people that was saying it was Cold War chest thumping.
Propaganda.
It was like that. Yeah. But
that was what was to be gained at the time, that we were basically beating the Russians there. That was the whole crux of the thing with JFK. We're going to beat the Soviet Union to the moon.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I mean,
so a couple comments here, Sarah. Something to do with shadows too. And yes, I've heard that. Like there's studio shadows in some of these pictures, and again, I kind of discount it, but. Darcy, the amount of shady things the government does, though, the Tuskegee experiment is a really good example as to government distrust. That is true. And a lot of times these things will come out in the later history, and we find out what the government did. And sometimes, the government will say, we did a bad thing, and we'll basically pay for it. Howard, one of the driving forces for not believing was the burgeoning special effects industry in Hollywood. That is true. Ms. Wilson, I've heard that people don't believe moon landing because the flag is shown flying out, but it wouldn't do that without wind.
I actually have heard the exact from Neil Armstrong, the man that was on the moon, if you believe that. I'm kidding. But the flag was not total cloth.
It had wire in it, right?
It was stiff, yeah.
Yeah, it had wire.
Like tinfoil or one of the. It was bendy and pliable, like you put it.
Yeah.
And they just kind of molded it like that, and they pulled it out of storage in the capsule and planted it, so it was already stiff.
So was the purpose of that? I assume just for a better picture, because if the flag just would have been, flaccid and just drooping, I mean, it wouldn't have been a very good picture.
Or going straight up, it would get,
that's true. Yeah, it would be going
so,
straight. Yeah. Either way, it wouldn't have looked as flag-like.
And something you have to remember, too, when they planted the flag, which caused it to move, there's less resistance in space. So if it were moving, it would continue to move and not necessarily stop real quickly. So there's that.
So I think that's one of the... Okay, and let's go on, since we're talking about things terrestrial and extraterrestrial, sort of. Flat Earth, that governments for years have covered up that the Earth is flat. I saw a documentary about the Flat Earth Society convention, and I was like, okay, I want to understand them. I don't. I just...
I mean, Todd, you looked out over the ocean. I mean, that's all you have to do, right?
Yep.
I mean, you can see the curvature. If it were flat, there would be a curvature with it.
Yeah. And the thing is, they showed that, guys. Like, dude, here is video footage of this. And it was all fake. It was all fake. There was going to be no convincing him. None at all. So, that's one.
Yeah, there are still, there's an NBA player here in the last year that said something about their belief. I can't remember who it was.
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, about the Earth being flat. I mean, so there are still.
I really think that was for attention. He's a Duke educated, and Kyrie Irving is a smart guy, like high IQ guy. I think he's just flapping his gums for notoriety. He kind of likes that, whether it be positive or negative. He likes that attention and that focus. But all right. How about this? Totally different direction. I'll come back to extraterrestrials later, just a spoiler. But okay, that the record industry and bands that worship Satan hide backwards subliminal messages in their music. So when you used to put on your vinyl and run it backwards at the beginning of Def Leppard, that was clearly backward mass, but there was these hidden messages that were subliminal.
Eric, give the Snowblind speech, the live Styx Snowblind speech, verbatim, word for word, Fiscus.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I was trying to conjure up the words I can paraphrase. Styx was accused of backward satanic messaging in the song Snowblind. But as James Young can stand before you this evening, the devil had nothing to do with this next song. Yes.
There we go.
And actually they did... yeah. They actually did put some backward messaging in some of their songs as a kind of a thumbing of the nose sort of thing. But
and see, and that's the thing. There are very obvious, like Def Leppard, like Prince at the end of Darling Nikki. And then there are some very obvious, actually some friends of mine were in a band and they put a backward message. I think it said orange marmalade makes my stool soft. and they did the backward, and they just picked some ridiculous sentence. I'm really not making that up. That's what it said. And
right.
But like subliminal, like there was a Kiss song that if you ran it backwards, it said Lucifer, Lucifer, night me, night me. And
right.
I've listened to that many times, and it's like it's right there. It's right there. It's like, sorry, buddy. It just says like, yeah.
Well, and like you guys were saying, I mean, they kind of created their own, accused people of it, and then all of a sudden, bands are going to do it for fun just to mess with people.
Oh yeah.
And then people hear what they want to hear, and you got to remember, of how many of those songs were listened to under the influence.
Correct.
So which will.
Yeah.
Well, do you all remember who was at the forefront of the backward satanic messaging sort of thing?
Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
No, I mean who in the public was pushing that whole narrative?
Oh, a guy. I forget, his first name might be Don, but I know his last name. It's either Bob or Don Larson. He was a televangelist and had a radio show. And I mean,
well, he was one, but there was one that's more famous.
Tipper Gore.
There you go, Tipper Gore. Yeah,
Tipper Gore.
She was at the forefront through the M. What was it called? The M something.
The PMRC.
PMRC. There you
Yeah,
go.
I knew she was big on trying to get music censored, but I didn't really know that she was connected to the backward satanic message accusation. But there's nothing more fun to watch to me than watching Dee Snider just completely destroy her in the Senate hearing there. She definitely thought this dumbass rock star was coming in there, not going to have a brain one in his head, and he pretty much showed her that he was playing chess while she was playing checkers.
And probably the most legally famous situation with backward messaging was Judas Priest. They got sued for committed suicide because
Yeah.
The song "Suicide Salute" was
That
that Judas
Ozzy.
Priest?
That's Ozzy.
That's right.
Yeah,
Ozzy, it was over the lyrics. Judas Priest was the backwards subliminal
Right,
message.
right, right.
Yeah, Ozzy. It was he was accused of the line "Get your guns out,"
Yeah.
and then saying
Get
"Shoot."
the gun, get the gun, do
Get
it,
the-
do it,
shoot, shoot,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he says he wasn't saying that. If you think that's what you're hearing, then you can make it sound like that in your head. But
And the irony is that song is about drinking yourself to death and don't,
Yeah.
But the opening lyric, wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker, suicide is sold in liquor. And it's a big cautionary tale. Somebody
Right.
wasn't doing their homework.
I think, and that's something that, and I know this is we're kind of getting off on a tangent here, but I think that was something about misunderstanding. If you're not a music person, or you're not a fan of rock and roll, and you're not you don't listen to words, or you maybe take things too black and white as far as word, then you miss a lot. And I think that take Pat Benatar, "Hell Is for Children." If you were to listen to that song, or just listen to the lyric, or even hear the title "Hell Is for Children," oh my gosh, what a terrible song! But when you listen to it, you know what I mean. That's the best example I can think of right now, where if you don't put the time in to understand what they're trying to say, then
Right.
Stripers to hell with the devil.
yeah.
Now that seems pretty black and white to me, or excuse me, yellow and black to me. but there were people that discounted it because it had the word hell in it. It totally
Yeah.
missed the message, But anyway, back
I got-
probably
I got-
a whole episode on this.
I got sundry comments here. Get to the audience. Howard, yes, my uncle Eugene, my dad's sister's husband, was a radar tech for the airport force. Lived in Airborne, worked out a right pat. He worked the Apollo mission. Said the moon landing was 100%
He's
real.
in on it. He's covering up.
Yeah, he's in on the conspiracy. April, welcome. The Bible talks about the earth being flat, so people use that as well as an argument. And Miss Wilson also talks about person at the laundromat told her the earth was flat because the Bible says it is. And the angels
A hell of
were on the four
a
corners
hell of a
the
conversation to have at the laundromat. That's
world.
very interesting.
Yeah.
That is indeed. How do you
Hey, are
invite
these
such a
your underwear?
conversation? And oh, by the way, the earth is flat because the angels are. Darcy says hollow earth is more believable than flat earth. I don't disagree
Yeah.
with that. Not sure I believe either, but well, no, I don't believe either. But you're right. I would believe that before. Back to the backward messaging. Gene Simmons said that Kiss only used the Satan angle because it sold records, and
Yeah.
Gene Simmons was
Oh,
about
yeah.
green. That was
Well,
it.
yeah. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before. I always crack up at my brother. My brother's 11 years older than me, and he had Kiss posters on his wall, and I remember being absolutely scared to death looking at the posters of Kiss on the wall. And then when I got a little older and heard their songs, and it's like, you mean that band is singing
Sings
Beth?
Beth.
It's- I mean, come on.
Well, think about the PMRC when the stickers went on the warning labels. I don't know about you guys, but I distinctly remember like when rap started and everything. I purposely looked at the ones
Yes,
that had the warning
I
label.
need to buy those records because they have
Yeah.
a label on them. All right, Miss Wilson. Also, one of the Beatles albums supposedly said Paul is dead. That is true.
I remember watching I was going to bring that up. I remember watching a documentary. I forget what it was on, probably Netflix, about the whole conspiracy thing with Paul McCartney.
I was going there next, Todd.
But I'll
Go
be
for
honest
it.
with you, it damn near made you believe it. I mean, like, it was, you know what I mean? It wasn't a very well produced, heavily backed, financially documentary, but it almost made you believe it. And I think partly because, again, I think the Beatles were probably having some fun and playing into it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they had a ball with that. Down to like on the Abbey Road album, Paul is one only purposely didn't wear shoes because you're not buried in shoes, and then he did that on purpose, like all the little things.
wait a minute, you're not
What?
you're not burying shoes?
No,
No, you're not.
but
It's like I would have known that, but
to end this backward masking thing, I do. There is only one example that I heard that I could almost see where it might have been, but it took a little bit of mental gymnastics. it was Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. And when you ran it backwards, there's this one part that says, I like to smoke marijuana.
Yeah.
And it sounds exactly like that.
Well, it's fun to smoke marijuana was the actual supposed line.
or-
Well, and
Yeah,
again,
something.
that's I don't know that that's even conspiracy. I mean, I could just see them, just doing that just for fun.
But I
Speaking
don't
of
think I
which-
would have heard it if nobody would have told me that's what I was supposed to say. though.
Oh yeah. What about the not backwards messages so much, but the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
They claim that they did not do it. It would be one of the biggest coincidences
Oh,
in music had they not. So I don't know whether I believe them. So I kind of believe that conspiracy that they.
I'm getting on board. And for those, I know there's probably a couple people out there that might not be aware of it, that if you start Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album, right when the credits begin at Wizard of Oz, and you turn the sound down on Wizard of Oz, what's being said on the album kind of reflects what's going on in the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, it's eerily. I mean, it's eerie. It does. I mean, right down to like they're walking in time with the music. Like it's not even just the scenes of the movie that are matching up to the lyrics. They're literally moving to the beat, to the rhythm.
How does it explain the flying monkeys?
Well, and like I know some of the things, and people may chime in that it's been years since I've even watched them. I used to have a copy of it on VHS that was already synced up.
Overlaid.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
already overlaid, which made it a lot easier because you didn't have to time it. Because it was supposed to be where if you push play right when the lion roared or the third time or something, or the but one of the lunatic is in the grass, and it's the scene where the scarecrow is like dancing, he's kind of dancing crazy in the grass. I mean, there's just things like that are just too big of coincidences that
Pretty big.
they had to have done that.
So I guess my response to that would be, who would have ever discovered that if they didn't plant the seed somewhere and say, oh, by the way, it had to be done on purpose.
That is an excellent point.
Excellent point, and I swear I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
Very good, Mr.
Same,
Biscuit.
same. I mean, nobody has that much time on their hands and that much concentration.
Or in the world of movies and the world of songs, I happen to pick these two and play them together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now I've often been surprised, like I'd be driving down the road or driving through a town or something, and I'll have something on the radio, and I will look out and I will see people walking in rhythm with the song. Like I think, I don't know if everybody does, but you
The
tend to.
human brain looks for patterns
It
because
looks for patterns. It looks, yeah. So I can see some of that, lining up, but no.
All right.
When I run Chipmunk Punk along with Driving Miss Daisy, and
All right. Other comments, Mr. Heron. When you play a country song backwards, you get your truck back, your girlfriend back, and your house back. That is correct. And you also don't drink the beer, right?
That old chestnut.
Yeah. Carrie, welcome. Remember Twisted Sister's big speech epic, D. Snyder?
Yes,
We,
Mr. D. Snyder.
referred to. Howard, leave it to Howard to get to the crux of the situation here. Backward masking on vinyl records is like girls wearing a padded bra. It's all for attention. Yes, sir. Gary, playing forward is bad enough half the time. That is true. They don't have to hide things anymore. It's just kind of there. But Gary, also, I tried The Wizard of Oz with 57 songs before I found that one that fit. Exactly. I mean, yeah,
and it was Michael Bolton. That's the hellish part.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I was going to go Yanni, but fine.
I was thinking Engelbert Humperdinck. But, okay. All right. Can we talk about conspiracy theories without talking about JFK?
No.
I can't.
We can't. All right. So I will say, was there more than one gunman?
Yes.
Yes.
Into the left. Back. Into the left. Back. Into the left.
All right.
That's all I need to say.
Yeah.
I am not. It's no surprise to anyone. I am not someone who would see myself as being on the same page as Oliver Stone politically. But the movie JFK is one of my favorite movies ever because I believe a lot of what was in it.
Yeah. And I guess, and I was talking to someone about this the other day, interestingly enough. And the person I was talking to said, well, why don't they just release all that stuff? What does it matter now? And I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get enough documents released to where we would know that. But again, maybe it goes back to government distrust. I don't know. But again, I'm not sure if we'll ever find out for sure.
Do you think at some point it gets to where like it's a matter of at this point it would do more harm than good, or you know what I mean? Like at some point do they say what good would it even do? I mean,
probably so.
Well, didn't they release the I forget what they were called now, the commission, the
Warren Commission.
The Warren Commission, and still like wasn't a lot of it still blacked out and
redacted.
Yeah, so I don't know. Probably won't know in our lifetime.
Which can I go on to the other big one?
Yeah.
Sure. Are we? I don't. I know I've kind of gone over the time here, and I wanted to end with this one because this one is getting interesting, and it's the whole Roswell thing. Roswell and Area 51. That we have the government and the Air Force, and the military have got alien technology, body parts, corpses, live, and I heard a really good explanation of this. And the stealth bomber, about the time that there was a ton, and now this, of course, this is 70s and everything, but the time where there was a lot of sightings of UFO unidentified flying objects was when they were flagged the B-1 stealth bomber and the stealth fighter, and the government couldn't say, hey, that's one of ours, and that's what counted for a lot of the sightings. But I have to say, I guess the Navy and the government is going to be releasing a report in the next couple weeks because of those leaked the fighter jets, the military, where the flying Tic Tac things, and they're going to release a report on it. And people are saying it's going to be one of three things. It's either one of ours that the military doesn't know it exists because it's highly experimental, it's compartmentalized. It's China or Russia's, and they got some really cool stuff that should worry us, or it's from out there, and it's a striking that a lot of people think, oh yeah, they're going to admit it's from out there, right? And that's going to happen within the next couple of weeks. So we might be looking back at this, and
I don't know that they're going to admit it, but that's what I believe. I think it's pretty remarkable that we are. And we don't get political in this show, which we continue to, that's one of the things that we've stuck to, because we talk politics, but we don't get, we're not interested in arguing or fighting or discussing politics to the level of uncomfortable, I'm rambling. But I think it's something that our country is in such weird, bad shape right now that this stuff's coming and you don't hear about it. Like you're almost finally getting like pretty much the go ahead that hey, there are there are UFOs, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Have you heard about? I mean, it's like
it's like it's oh, by the way,
yeah, exactly.
There are aliens.
Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. I mean, he has been on this alien course forever, and has been called has been pushed aside and made fun of for years and years and years, and I'd be damned if he's kind of leading. He's one of the leading voices in this, and like worked with the military and things. Yeah, so it's just going to kind of be a bit interesting that he was kind of brushed aside for so many years, and it turns out that he was probably right. But do I think that they'll admit to it, Brady? No, I don't.
No.
I think they will. I think they will have. I think our military will have some sort of explanation that makes the general population happy, and they move on.
Yeah.
Got some other comments here. Let's Let's see. Howard says yes, there was more than one gunman. He agrees with that. Savannah, there's a conspiracy theory that J.P. Morgan was behind the sinking of the Titanic, and I've heard that one before. John Jacob Astor.
I never heard that before.
Part of that as well. So,
There's the Rothschild and Colonel Sanders.
With his wee beady eyes.
Mr. Craven Knightley.
Before he went teats up.
Oh, there's our reference for the night.
Yeah.
Always
All
have
right.
a axe murderer reference. Howard says it matters because everyone who knows the truth is now part of obstruction of justice, etc. That's true. And Gary says maybe the truth is worse than the theories. That could be as well. Now,
Good theory.
this next one here, you're gonna have to explain this one, Miss Wilson, because that's one of those things you taught us in literature, and
The theory is that William Shakespeare did not write what
It was his pen name.
he is credited with.
Yeah.
No,
Gotcha.
not a pen name.
Well-
Just he didn't write it.
he had a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So why?
She will be able. Mrs. Wilson will be able to explain it much better. But that's the gist of it. Is that a lot of people think that he was given credit for things that he did not.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Gary. Every time it's a 12-year-old in Iowa. That's
We're off Florida,
great.
man.
Yeah, right. Always, yeah, Florida man, always. John, I'm trying to get my friend on here. Well, we welcome anyone who wants to join us. All right, Matt.
We love it when you push us on other people. we want all of you to spread the word of
Yes.
mouth.
We'd rather you impose us on other people than we impose ourselves.
So are we going to get through an entire topic on conspiracies and talk about UFOs and JFK and not talk about big feats?
Big feats. Well, we're 41 minutes in.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you a Bigfoot believer or not, Brady?
I used to be, and now with Google Earth and technologies and things like that, I believe that Bigfoot was, I think that Bigfoot was probably a human with a genetic disorder.
I wouldn't have thought you'd have been able to do the Superman Bigfoot.
Or Flintstones.
How's it? Is it BIGFT apostrophe Bigfoot?
Okay. Are we trying to? Are you asking me if I agree that all the big feet are one big foot? That all these sightings are of one creature, or are there multiple big feet?
Well, I do not. I've never believed that there's one Bigfoot. I've believed that there are
A race of big
race of Bigfoots, Bigfoots.
Bigfoots.
But yeah, that's an interesting take, Eric. I never even thought about that. So you're saying that there is a group of people out there that believe that there's one Bigfoot, only one Bigfoot, who is just.
Well, you never hear someone say, I saw a Bigfoot. They
True.
say, I saw Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So it's always the same creature.
No one ever says, I saw one of the many big feet.
Exactly. So if you're asking if I would agree that there's only one big foot, no. Are there multiple big feet? Maybe.
Maybe. But,
Am I allowed to vote? Maybe.
yes, you can.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am because, like, for instance, there is a family of circus performers in Mexico where they have that genetic disease where they have what are you laughing at?
Just,
Did I casually drop circus
Yes.
performers in Mexico? Like they're my neighbors. But anyway, the Gutierrez is no, I'm kidding. But anyway, they have that disease where they have hair all over their visages, like where there's not supposed to be. And I think that there's a pretty good possibility. It's kind of like the blue people of Troublesome Creek. There is isolated pockets of these, genetic
Bluefoot.
marbles. Bluefoot.
So you're saying that you think it is a case of mistaken identity. You're thinking it's
I do.
just it's someone with a hair problem, and that they've been mistaken as Bigfoot.
Yeah, and who's not to say that they were a large Bigfoot? That it was a large
size 22 shoe.
The only I just want to say the only thing that to me the most believable evidence would be Prince, not Prince the entertainer, but Prince. Prince. Prince was definitely not a Bigfoot. Prince, Prints, because I don't know that people have as big a feet as the footprints that have been found. But what are these people seeing? What are they? And I'm not talking about the blurry photographs that the people that have legit, or at least in their head, legit stories of going out and hearing these creatures or coming face to face with these creatures. What are they seeing? I mean, what's the explanation? You're saying it's the
it could be people with genetic abnormalities, but and I know that this is a pop culture cliche. I got it, and I'm not saying this to be condescending to people or snooty, but they said it's never the local principal, or it's never the dentist, or it's always a kind of a weird person that lives in a
it's the rat barker.
Mobile housing. It's the rat barker.
It's the rat barkers. Yeah. So let's go to the next though, Chupacabra or the Loch Ness monster. I mean, they all kind of are in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. Cryptids or cryptozoology is what it's called.
Okay. So do you believe in the Loch Ness?
I think it's a large eel. I'm convinced there is a big anus eel that it undulates like that.
I think it's a carp. I think it's a giant carp. Good eating him carp.
If we cut out the mud vein. All right, now we have another angle on all this that the audience has brought up. All right, so there is the Yeti. So you have big feet, and you have the abominable snowman.
The abdominal snowman.
The abdominal snowman. Same creature, differing creatures. One of the multiple big feets.
It's a Bigfoot with its winter coat.
A skunk ape in Florida. There's a skunk ape research center in Florida.
Escape? Or would it be a punk? No, that would be up. Never mind. That was bad. Well, there have been other. You got Mothman. I mean, how can we forget Mothman?
Mothman.
And there's another. Isn't there like somewhere in Ohio the red-eyed frogman or something? Or there's some sort of.
It's probably Yellow Springs.
Well, the Mothman was down in Gallipolis.
Yeah. And
what was it?
Yeah. So Gary also talks about the Yeti. To catch a Yeti made me a believer. I trust Miatlowov implicitly. And who doesn't?
Yes.
Yeah, there's the Loveland Frogmen is who I was thinking of.
Loveland Frogman.
It's just Ohio. This is a whole other topic. I'm gonna.
Let's.
I'm gonna say this, but I have a top. I have a 11 most bizarre mythical creatures from Ohio. That might let's save that.
Well, we'll save that because people are starting to chime in. We've got the Ohio Grassman. We've got the Loveland Frogman.
And then the Mothman.
The red-eyed frogman at sea. Yeah.
And the Wickerman.
Chronicles.
And the Thinman.
The Thin. All right, gentlemen, we're 50 minutes in.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yes, we will save that.
It'll be a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, right. All right, Brady, thank you.
That was fun.
It was fun.
A little different flavor. A little bit of a different flavor.
Yes. Almost too serious for us. Almost.
But
maybe. But we'll remedy that right now, won't we, Todd?
Are you going to do your?
Yeah, I need to do my. I had to take a drink first.
Okay.
I was
Your
a little
housekeeping.
Housekeeping. It's a little parched.
Patched.
All right. I didn't do the housekeeping at the beginning of the show, so go to our website, www.playbyyourpodcast.com. And while you're there at our podcast, first of all, or at our website, excuse me, you can register for updates on our show on the top of every page. On the very right, there is a registration form. You can get email updates on the show. You can also check into our membership if you go to playbyyourpodcast.com/support. Like Bartles and James, we appreciate your support. You can go to that link and you will be taken to our crowdsourcing platform called Buy Me a Coffee, and your support financially helps us out with different things like the software we're using. Has a licensing fee and among other things, but that support will also help us in our second round of merchandise here very soon.
Very soon.
In fact, Brady and I were discussing that whilst Todd was gone. And, we'll of course discuss that with him, and I foresee that on the horizon prior to the end of summer. So keep that in mind as we go along. And thanks to our Earbud Hall of Famers, Joe and Christina Rocky, Chuck Griffin, Allison Chavis, Jessica Longacre, and Savannah Brown for their support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Todd.
Okay. So, in the past, I know we've touched on topics that have, we've mentioned mascots. I know we had the very funny high school mascot conversation that time when Eric was looking up the mascots, and we had we talked a little bit about cereal. I know the Toucan Sam was brought up, and the Crispy Critters. We touched on some of this, but I thought we've never done a topic on like brand mascots. There's a couple of directions we can go. I have a few different lists that we can use to guide us. We could talk about just in general brand mascots that we remember, that we could talk about the ones we hated the most, the ones we liked the most, just a mixed bag of brand.
A veritable cornucopia and hodgepodge of mascots.
Yes. And so I'll just get started. So most of these on this list, as I look through it, I remember, and I think you guys will too. And to start us off, we have the Aflac duck. Aflac duck. And it was introduced in the year 2000. Obviously, the insurance company Aflac. By the way, anyone know who voices the Aflac duck?
Donald?
No.
I do not.
Gilbert.
Is it Ben Affleck?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh,
Now that you mention that, I think I did hear that once. Thank you, Brady.
And all he did was quack the Aflac. That's all he did. But that didn't stop him from becoming one of the most famous mascots of the 2000s. Well, we won't get into this, but Gottfried eventually got fired. Backlash. Which, by the way, in 2011, that was a bit early for cancel culture, but he was canceled because of some distasteful jokes of his.
Really?
What do you expect? It's Gilbert Gottfried.
I've
I've always found the Aflac duck to be a bit annoying, mainly because I think ducks are annoying.
We have a local story breaking that has been getting a lot of duck attention.
Yeah. So, is the point of the Aflac duck because a duck quack sounds similar to Aflac?
I think that's it.
It's very loose. That is a loose connection there.
So, you're no fan of Donald or Daffy or any aforementioned ducks?
I don't mind.
The duck?
I don't mind cartoon ducks. I love Howard the Duck. It was a great movie. Howard Duck, and proud of it. It's a great line. But anyway, I just don't like. I don't know. I think ducks are pretty. I don't mind watching them in their natural habitat. But if you've ever been chased by a pissed off duck, then it's not hard to hate him.
I thought geese were more rascally than ducks.
Well, is it the Affleck? Isn't it more of a goose?
I
It's
just
a
took it to
white
be a duck.
domesticated duck.
But it's the all white yellow beak. I mean, I picture that as more of a goose.
Now, Donald is a duck. He's all white
True.
with an orange beak.
All right, moving right on. In the year 1916, we were introduced to the Planters mascot, Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Peanut.
Didn't he die here recently?
He did.
I think he did.
Was he roasted?
Obviously, Mr.
Shelled.
So does he? You
Chopped.
know, the best thing about Mr. Peanut, his monocle. I always respect.
Monocles are very underused nowadays.
They are.
Well,
He
I
wouldn't
mean-
have looked the same had he had full board glasses,
I
spectacles.
mean,
He
think
needed
about
them.
it. This is a nut.
Brady, I don't know where
With-
you went.
Yeah, your
Oh,
voice
what?
is gone. Your voice was gone.
Your
face
voice
was moving.
pixelated.
Oh, am I okay now?
Yep, you're okay now.
Okay.
You were doing a Megan Trainor. Your lips were moving, but no words were coming out.
But anyway, sorry, I said Mr. Peanut pulled himself from the dirt, literally, and went on to great things where he was always seen in formal attire with a top hat and monocle and a cane. I think Mr. Peanut is a success story.
I think so too. I also wonder as I look at him here. He was 1916 was pretty early for people to be wearing tights. He's essentially wearing like yoga pants, or that very popular now. But in 1916, unless his shell is part of his, I mean, is that his
I mean,
outfit?
I don't know how anthropomorphic Peanut's legs usually look, but I don't know why they wouldn't put tights on them.
Yeah.
Why not?
He's called Mr. Peanut, but as I look closely, I don't see anything to designate him as a Mister so much in his.
Just look inside, you'll find it.
Find them.
These.
Unless it's one of those rare, you crack it open and there are 3 of them. That's always a good surprise.
Then he becomes E.T.
Is that Cheech or Chong?
All right, so
Yeah.
next we have, in the year 1965, Pillsbury introduced the Pillsbury Doughboy. There's no way not to
Boy.
like the jovial character of Pillsbury the Doughboy.
Yeah, nobody would want to deal with Surly Doe. They poke it like, hey,
I just called him
in here.
Pillsbury the Doughboy, but that's not it. It's not his name at all. It's just the Pillsbury Doughboy. It's not like Frosty the Snowman. It's not Pillsbury the Doughboy.
Could be Pillsbury Tea Doughboy.
1952, we have Kellogg's coming out with Tony the Tiger. Again, I have nothing. So far, I
Always
have
needed
nothing
that
against
kerchief.
any of these mascots. In 1959, National Federation of Coffee Growers of Colombia, Juan Valdez.
Don't
not
see him much
familiar.
anymore.
This is interesting, though. Juan Valdez, the Colombian coffee farmer, has become something of a symbol of Colombian culture internationally. He appeared on the Federation's coffee packaging since 2002. That's kind of hard to believe that it's been that recent.
Yeah. Brady, I'm sure you've seen pictures. He's like
Yeah.
looking into a sunrise sort of thing, right?
I think he
Is
just
that
got into
Well,
a
he
different
has
industry
a-
in the 80s.
He has a horse or a mule or something
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
next
Right.
to him, and there's a mountain range behind him.
Yeah, I got it. I know who you're talking about.
One of my least favorites here. In 1999, Geico, the Geico Gecko, which again is, I think, kind of like the Affleck. I mean, Gecko and Geico just sound similar, so they picked a gecko.
right?
I don't
I'm not
have
a
a
big-
problem with him so much. I mean, the commercials are annoying, but just the fact that he's a gecko, like,
But I just have a problem with him walking on his hind legs. What would be
That's
wrong with
silly.
having? Why humanize him? Why couldn't they just? Why aren't they just proud that he's a gecko and let him scurry on 4 legs like all geckos do?
So you have no problem with an I can't say it. Peanut.
A human like peanut.
Peanut. But you have a problem with the gecko walking on his hind legs.
I do, because a peanut has no human character. They don't walk at all. There's nothing human. But a gecko already is a living creature. They walk on 4 legs. Why have them walk upright? I have never seen a gecko walking upright. They didn't have Juan Valdez crawl on 4 legs.
Guess not.
All right, next we have Colonel Sanders.
These wee beady eyes.
Music David Knightley.
Todd is frozen.
Is Todd frozen?
Now it gives me an opportunity to go through these comments. All right. Howard says mascots are meant to capture your attention. The Aflac duck is effective. That is true.
That is true.
Sometimes annoyment can be an attention grabber and therefore effective. Hence my, not a mascot, but my disdain for Mike Castrucci and his Ian Milford. Yet I have bought many cars from him, so I don't know why I've done that, but I have. All right.
I've got one while Todd is frozen, because I prepped a list also. And
Well, I got all these comments. Can I get through the comments
Go
first?
through the comments first, yeah.
All right, Savannah, her niece got chased by ducks for pork rinds. Again, I think I've always heard geese are more surly than ducks, but maybe ducks are surly as well. Howard, Mr. Peanut, came about as a young boy created by him winning a contest. And Jim says, Mr. Peanut is a mister, he has nuts, enough said. And Howard does, yes. The Pillsbury Doughboy is actually, his name is Poppin' Fresh. That is true.
I know that.
Yes, that is correct.
Dude,
Also says Tony the Tiger was first voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft. Now
that man had to be in theater
yeah,
with a name like that.
So Howard, that name sounds familiar, and I'm trying to figure out why it sounds familiar. Jason, welcome, Jason. He asked, why bipedal for the gecko? Mark Perry, maybe that's the friend that John was trying to get on. From Canada. Is that you, Mark?
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Allison, geese are horrible in capital letters and will chase you. Apparently ducks will as well if you have pork rinds. So, Brady, that's the comments. So you have another one.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of them. I came from when he mentioned the topic, I just wrote a bunch down spontaneously. Now here is one I always had a problem with. I think this is one of the most disturbing mascots if you really think about it, because his name sounds so harmless, and the commercials are harmless, but really think about it. The Tidy Bowl Man. Here is a man that lurks in your toilet in a dinghy. And
I had totally forgotten about the Tidy Bowl Man.
And he is privy to you conducting commerce, and there he is in a boat, just checking things out. I'm weirded out by that.
What's he checking out?
Well, I guess the cleanliness of your toilet, which, but in fairness, he's usually lurking in the tank, but still, any product...
It seemed like he'd be in the line of fire.
Oh,
if
yeah.
he's in the dinghy in the toilet.
And, the other thing is like, what a disturbing concept. There will be a wee man scrub my toilet whilst I'm on it. Not cool. So, not a fan of the Tidy Bowl Man. Morris the cat.
Morris the cat. Yes.
Morris, it's Din Din.
Now, I didn't mind Morris because Morris always had a smart alecky comment.
He was Garfield before there was Garfield.
Or was he before Garfield, though?
Oh, Morris the cat's been around since the 50s.
Hasn't Garfield?
Yeah, because Garfield was only around in the like he was created in the late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, because ironically they're even kind of the same color, the orange with an orange tabby. But yeah, I wonder how many cats have been Morris over the years. That'll be a piece of trivia I would like to look up. This will keep me up at night. Okay.
I've actually heard that before.
Really? I'm gonna have to look that up. What about the daggone Burger King dude?
He's pretty creepy.
Oh, I'd be terrified if that man showed up with a bag of fast food. I'd be afraid to take it. He's scary.
He looks like those guys in the movie. Have those masks on. What's it called? Like
Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah. Creepy.
Okay. Speaking of fast food, Ronald McDonald over under, but nobody gives enough love to Grimace, who isn't grimacing, or the Hamburglar. Robble, robble, robble.
Rabble, rabble.
Robble, robble.
So, what is Grimace?
I kind of think I think he kind of represents the shape of what's in your colon after you eat it. Hence the name Grimace. I'm going out on a limb there, but he's happy because it's cash in the check, so it's causing a grimace. The intestinal distress, but I don't know. I have no theory.
But you're right. He was called Grimace, but he wasn't grimacing. He seemed to be a jovial sort.
Yeah, kind of like calling the biggest guy on the field tiny. One of those deals.
Oh, you made me snort.
Oh, good.
So now wait a minute before you go on. So you had Hamburglar, Grimace. You had that. What was that bird called? That McDonald's. And I don't think the bird came around until they started serving breakfast. I think that was the breakfast mascot.
Was it early bird?
It could have been early bird.
And then there was the goblins.
Oh, goblins.
There was the Fry Guys, or the Fry
Guys. Yeah, they look like the Pac-Man ghosts, sort of.
Yeah, and there was Mayor McCheese, and he never got any love. He kind of disappeared. He must have been voted out of office.
Out of office. So while we're on the restaurant tangent, so what other restaurant mascots did we have? Of course, you have Wendy.
Yeah.
But she was just a drawing. I mean, right? Did she was never
based on Dave Thomas's daughter.
Right. Is there any other restaurant mascots that come to mind? I'm positive I'm missing something there, but we got some comments here.
The Noid.
The Noid. Yeah, the Noid has made a comeback. The Noid. I saw the Noid on a commercial last week. Yeah.
The Domino's Pizza Noid.
Yes.
Are we there? There's Todd.
Todd is here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Interesting. So, I'm on my phone. I'll do my best not to make everybody sick by moving my hand. But I can't. I don't know what happened. My computer blew up.
That's not good.
My mother just texted me on the fast food mascots. Sorry, Todd, we were kind of going on with some mascots. I wrote down the list. We kind of got hung up on fast food. So my mom just mentioned the cows from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah. Eat more chicken. And Howard, obviously Big Boy. We forgot Big Boy.
We did. If you didn't order his sandwich, he was going to pull out that slingshot and bust a cat on you.
So was the I can't look at my list, so we'll have to just continue doing what you guys are doing and winging this topic. because most of the ones on the list I were looking at weren't restaurant ones, but the big boy. So was Frisch's? Was he the mascot for Frisch's and Shoney's?
No, Shoney's. Okay, so I've read up on the history of Big Boy, and I don't know. Sometimes I get on these Wikipedia tangents and I read things, but okay. So Bob's Big Boy was the first big boy in the nation. It was centered in California. Then a gentleman's name was Meyer, purchased a franchise for Frisch's for like $100, a big boy franchise, and he started having big boys around here, and it was for Ohio, Kentucky, and he bought out like a bunch of states, and he actually owned the Shoney's restaurants around here too. But then they got out of the Shoney's business, and Shoney's kind of separated out from Big Boy, but I don't know that they actually ever had the Big Boy mascot. But the difference obviously here is with our Big Boys, they had tartar sauce, and the other ones have like Thousand Island dressing. That's the sauce.
The only thing I enjoy tartar sauce more is a Big Boy. Perfect every now and then. I don't
like tartar sauce on your fist?
No, I'm a catsup person when it comes to my fist sandwich. Now, see, Brady, you're crinkling your nose, but I would think you would be more of a fan of ketchup over tartar sauce.
Oh, I would take ketchup over tartar sauce. Yeah.
Hatred for white condiments.
Yeah.
So
I got one for you. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Eric.
Well, we do. I put this comment up here. Miss Wilson asked, "What's up with the blue emu?" Are you talking about the Liberty Mutual emu? Because my disdain for the Liberty Mutual emu is, and I don't know who I hate worse, the emu or Doug. I hate them equally. It's just nonsensical. Liberty, the emu and Doug, those are like Doug's the human, and then there's the emu in the commercial. Emu, and Doug. Doug is a fool.
On one of the lists I was going to use had a most hated, and Ronald McDonald was high on that list, and that's surprising.
Yeah.
No reason to hate Ronald.
He's a clown.
That's probably is the thing. He's a clown.
It mentioned that about it. It thinks of whoever wrote the article. They were thinking that it was had a lot to do. I can't remember the term for it. The here clown, some sort of phobia.
Yeah.
I can't remember it. But real quick though, while I'm thinking of this, so this little technical mishap with my computer blowing up. And I'm using my phone now. I don't know what it sounds like on that end. I don't know if it sounds different than when I had my headphones and my microphone.
It does sound different, but
okay. Well, this maybe opens up some possibilities, though. We've talked before about taking our show on the road. The fact that it could be done with a cell phone.
Yeah, it could be. Anything else on the? Yeah, absolutely.
The Cottonelle Bears. Because nothing moves toilet paper like bears.
Well, but they're bears with dingleberries. They're dingleberries. They put the bear in dingleberries.
Well,
this is
I thought it was
true.
the age-old question: does it poop in the woods? Like I kind of thought it was a reference to that.
Oh, I always assumed it was bear, dinglebear.
But aren't they rejoicing the fact that the Cottonelle bathroom tissue does not cause them to have dingleberries?
They are, but the way they know that they need to switch to Cottonelle is there's always that one bear that comes up and turns around and looks like a.
I would say, they have a pretty high fiber diet of berries and salmon. You'd think they would have a healthy, smooth poop. Scat, excuse me, they're bears. They're scat.
But looks like a Jackson Pollock painting when it comes out. But here's what you would think that all bears would. First off, don't bears ought to always have nature's bidet out there, like a stream or a creek or something? I mean, why would they need any paper?
I don't know. I'll take the I'll take the high road and not make an unbearable joke. That's all I got. But, what about the Mucinex glob?
A booger.
Yeah.
Did you guys mention Chuck E. Cheese?
No, but
Yeah.
yeah, a rat that sells pizza.
Charles Edward Cheese. And his cousin from Mexico, Carlos Queso.
Oh, Brady.
Does it? I think Chuck E. Cheese actually the name stands for something. I don't think it's Carlos. I think it's I can't remember. Somebody look that up. That has their phone.
What the E stands for?
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm not. Yeah, look that up real quick.
But we were just like
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Entertainment Cheese.
That's a pretty haughty name. The rat marker must have given him that moniker.
Other comments? Mr. Heron is with me. Hate Doug and the Emu equally. Howard, however, loves Doug and the Emu's car. It was his first car. What car? What was that, Howard? I think I can see it, but I don't know what kind of car it is. Stephanie says Ronald is a creepy clown, and there's a faction of people out there that think all clowns are creepy.
Yeah.
It did not help that reputation of the clowns at all. Miss Wilson thought the Cottonelle thing went with the Bears in the Woods reference as well. And she brings up an older mascot, restaurant mascot. Yes, Burger Chef and Jeff.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I have not thought about that since I was 5. Burger Chef and Jeff, yes.
As I said, that may be almost before Todd's time.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I don't remember. Did you guys already talk about Burger King?
Yeah.
That's
Mentioned
one
he
of
was
the
pretty
creepiest.
creepy.
Yeah.
It looks like he has a Guy Fawkes mask on.
What is it, between Burger King, Burger Queen, like what's with all the royal aspirations of burger slingers?
There weren't many Burger Queens around. We had the one in Georgetown, which turned into a Druthers.
The one in
I'd
West
rather-
Union did too.
Rather go to Druthers.
I'd rather starve.
Is that a big one if you had your druthers?
If you had your Druthers, you'd go to Druthers restaurant.
I had a fly poison in my ice cube at Brothers. I remember that. That's where I think I'm going to credit our friend Doug with I'd rather starve.
Are you certain it wasn't one of those? I used to buy those the Johnson and Smith company or something like that.
It's Spencer's. No, this
they
is
had
real.
The fly and the ice cube gag, that old chestnut.
All right, Mike. Welcome, Mike. Surprised PETA hasn't protested emu usage. That is true. Howard. Now, rarely do I call Howard into question, but I'm going to have to call Howard into question on this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Burger Queen, I do believe, was bought out by Burger King. However, Burger Chef, I believe, was bought out by Hardee's.
There was a royal usurping of power there.
There was. The king had the queen beheaded.
Why is there no Burger Prince or Princess?
Well, who wants to eat a sibling burger?
The Burger Duchess.
There's Duchess Chili.
The Burger Viceroy. I'm trying to think of it. The Earl of Burger.
Oh, there's an Earl sandwich.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Any other mascots we want to touch upon here?
Let's see.
I think there's more. I mean, there are probably tons of them. But, the Gorton's Fisherman. He's nameless, but, he will always have a yellow slicker and a salt and pepper beard. Where the sea is on his face. He's seen things.
Yeah.
He has seen things, a weather-worn
But he smells like
visage.
smells like a giant fish stick.
Do, the Gordon's fisherman.
Are you thinking of South Park, Ray?
Yes, I am. Genius. Oh. All right.
Alright, well, I got my disdain out for Lemu, Emu, and Doug. I think that's the only one I really wanted to touch upon, which I have done here before. So, Howard says the Little Caesars guy. That's one we missed also in restaurants. Trying to think of anything else that pops into my mind in regard to mascots. Not sure I can think of anything else.
I apologize. I said I didn't know what's going on. And if I'm making people dizzy, I'm kind of making myself dizzy. Harder than you think just to hold a phone steady and stare into it.
Do you have a wireless charger?
What do you mean?
Like I have a wireless charger just where the phone just sits
We
there.
no, I have nothing like that. I am thinking about trying to profit in some way though. But like I said, my computer is still frozen on the StreamYard screen. I can't even turn the thing off. I've never not been able to turn a computer off before. Any tech people out there, what can I do if my computer just won't turn off?
Holding the power button didn't work.
No. Interesting.
Very.
Well, I'll have a week to fix it.
All right. Once again, visit our website, www.playbyyourpodcast.com, and you can check out our isms on our website. And we've now added Bigfoot to the isms. Bigfoot. It is a link on our website on the menu. You can see the glossary of our isms and find out what in the world we are talking about. Okay. Topic 3, as usual here, the gain. It has been 6 weeks, but it is time once again for Misery Index. Index. Okay, so gentlemen, and I was thinking the other day we play so many games, maybe we should get dry erase marker boards instead of using paper.
Would be a good idea.
Good idea.
Yeah. But we'll explore that another time. So, you will need paper for our gain.
Is that better, Biscuits? I have it propped up.
Yes, much better.
You never guess what I'm using. A fountain ball?
I'm afraid to ask.
It's a rubber bouncy ball and a computer mouse. So
Whatever
go figure.
works.
I am the MacGyver of this podcast.
So touch back upon our mascots, the Marlboro Man, Miss Wilson. Yes,
Good call.
and he died of cancer from smoking. Right, Mr. Heron, Tech Guru says remove the battery. Maybe that'll work. So you can look into that.
Yeah, I'll do it afterwards.
Yeah. All right. So Misery Index. Again, to let our audience know or remind our audience, if you have not seen us play the Misery Index before, I will give a scenario to our players here, our co-hosts. They will play the game, and essentially it is a Misery Index from 1 to 99. So 1 being the least amount of misery caused by said scenario, and 99 being the most misery caused by said scenario. And our co-host once again will play the game, and we will go back and forth. And refresh my memory, gentlemen, we do this, one of you guesses, the other one goes higher or lower. Is that correct? We play this card shark style.
Yeah, we did. The Kyle King roll.
Yeah. All right. So again, one of our hosts will guess a number on the misery index for said scenario, and the other one will have the ability to say higher or lower, and the one who is correct will get the points. So, Todd, in honor of your return, we will allow you to go first, and I'm shuffling the cards. Cards. All right, first misery index situation. Oh my. Todd,
Yes, sir.
you fart loudly and repeatedly at a funeral.
But what is this my misery or the people around me's misery? Like, is
I'm making an assumption it would be your misery.
okay.
You have such intestinal distress you cannot control your flatulence, and this is your embarrassment misery index. That's the way I would take it.
So do I need paper, or do I just say it?
Well, I guess you can just say it, since the other person is going to say higher or lower.
I would think number one, it would depend on whose funeral it is. I would think if it were a family, it wouldn't be near as bad than if you were at like someone that you didn't know as well, you know. But I'm going to stay about right in the middle at 50.
50?
Give you a little bit of room there, Brady. 52.
52.
Yeah.
32. All right. Since I'm going to have to go with the average answer, mine would be like 99. I just think that would just be mortifying. I would die. Anyway, but I think that there are, since we probably have some crass respondents, I'm going to go lower.
Lower than 52.
Lower than 52.
So the situation is, again, fart repeatedly at a funeral. Misery index number is 16. 16 on the misery index.
So Brady,
All right,
99?
Oh my gosh.
So Brady,
there's grieving people and you're adding to their grief. And not only that, but I mean, what if it was, oh, daggone. I don't even know. I can just think of all kinds of terrible scenarios. Yeah, that'd be awful.
What if it were at somebody's funeral where they would have been like, so-and-so would have enjoyed that?
You know, that's why I'm taking the. I cannot think of any situation. Others might enjoy it, but I would feel crass and, tacky.
Well, if you're ever at mine,
Feel free to let it rip.
I want you to feel free to let it rip. I want you to enjoy yourself and be comfortable. Don't be
This
uptight.
is for Todd.
Yes, don't be uptight. Have somebody pass you the microphone right before you do it. Hey, and you know what to do with that microphone, Brady. Straight to the store.
All right, so the audience chimed in here. Mr. Heron, can you blame the fart on someone else? No misery. 0 if you can blame it on someone else. Howard, oh no, funeral flatulence 20 was his guess. Gary said lower, which Brady said was correct.
Oh, Miss Wilson.
Miss Wilson says, you say, I can't believe they didn't embalm me. Nicely played, nicely played. All right.
We love you, Miss Wilson.
Yes. Okay, Brady. Here's your scenario.
Okay.
Your partner screams ex-lover's name during sex. What is your misery? Dusty Rhodes.
If you will. Odd times. Della Blanchard. I am going to say 75%. 75.
75. Todd, higher or lower than 75?
Much lower.
Much lower. Okay. I find the picture this interesting here. We have a trombone that says "womp womp." I'm not sure how that ties into the scenario, but indeed, that is the picture on the card. So, the misery index, partner screams ex-lover's name during sex, is 15.5, so it is much lower. So Todd
Yeah, big deal.
roars back to a 1-1 tie. All right, next scenario. It is interesting that we mentioned this earlier. Todd, very simply, the scenario is enema. That's all the card says, enema.
Are we talking voluntary?
Is there an involuntary one?
Well, I mean, like...
The mean streets of Sardinia, somebody's tipping somebody upside down and giving them the fleet.
Talking like medical procedure to where like this has to happen. Like, are we talking like basic maintenance? Are we talking? I'm gonna go 20.
20. Brady just does not hesitate. Todd says 20 and Brady says higher for the enema. By the way, I forgot to go to the audience on their answers to the previous situation. Once again, that was your partner screams your ex-lover's name during sex. Josh asked, "Are you married?" Card didn't really say, but Ms. Wilson said lower. Jim said lower. Josh qualifies if you're married, higher, if not lower. Howard, sexual substitution 79. Josh says 51. This is for the enema question. Josh says 51. Howard says unexpected enema is 45. Todd says 20. Brady says higher, immediately higher. So there's your picture, enema, which again is an odd picture. 14.5 is the misery index. I would say the enema itself would not be the misery, it would be what came immediately after the enema.
Maybe not.
Yeah, could be.
Pure relief.
Joy.
Yeah. Happy.
Exaltation.
Oh.
Brady,
All right.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yes. All right, Brady.
Yes.
Your scenario. You fall into a septic tank. You fall
80.
into a septic tank. 80.
All I can think about is that poor soul at the Brown County Fair, and they had portalets where it broke and she fell into the filth in the cess. And
Well, that wasn't a portalet. That was like an outhouse that had a wooden floor,
Oh, yeah.
wasn't it?
yeah,
Man, there's so much. You never know the surveyed. You never know how they're going to think, because are we talking fell in it and then immediately was able to get pulled out? Are we talking fell in it and had to wait until the shift was over 8 hours later? Are we talking never got out of it? Are we talking, I'm going to stay a little lower.
A little lower than 80.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I would say if you look at the picture on the card, you see the character has fallen into the septic tank head first. I think that would immediately raise the amount of misery in this whole situation. However, according to the card, the misery index for falling into a septic tank is 41. 41. So Todd, correct, guessing lower.
I'm a soft person.
Well,
You do seem to find misery in a lot of situations.
yeah. No farting, no fun at all, Brady.
So
In the gas.
Josh had said 75 for his guess, and Howard says the O slip would be 90. So both were a little high on that. Okay, so we are to Brady's guess, right?
Mine. Brady picked 80, and I.
Oh, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Okay, next scenario. All right, Todd.
Mhm.
Your mom catches you doing the 5-knuckle shuffle. That's not what the card says.
Is that stealing from a store?
Are we talking at
That's the 5-finger discount, Brady.
Are we, are we talking at 14 or 44? I mean,
The card does not qualify that. All it says is your mom catches you.
85.
5. Brady. And again, the misery index card with the picture of a person having their hands sawed off by a handsaw. I don't know what that has to do with it.
I thought it was a pair of glasses with the
That's
side.
what I thought it was.
No, it's
Exactly what I thought it was.
It was a You'll Go Blind reference.
it's a handsaw.
Okay.
All right, so thank you, Blake. Blake thought my description was funny. All right, so your mom catches you doing your business. Misery index number is 42.5. And
Did
that
they just ask
0.5
a bunch of people at San Quentin these questions?
That's the first one, Brady, that I am on your side about. The little farts living at a funeral, you gotta toughen up, man.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I did. That's to not even make it halfway up the misery index. I don't care what age you are. I think that would be very embarrassing.
But wouldn't you agree that the older the age, the higher the number?
I don't know about that.
Next.
I mean, you're mortified by everything when you're a teenager. Howard says, yeah, I would have just died. Oh, Howard, thinking of what Aunt Wanda would have said to that. Mr. Heron, lower but not much from 80. And actually, it was much lower than 80. All right. So, who got that?
Me.
Did I put the point on? 4-1? 4-1. Are we playing to 5 and then...
For our new listeners, this is usually where I catch fire, typically.
Yes, indeed. All right. Brady?
Yes.
Again, the card simply says pubic lice.
Burger with pubic lice. Remember getting in trouble on the bus singing that song in my freshman year or something like that.
All I can think of is our favorite George Carlin thing. I mean, you got any little critters running around, Mrs. Critter? You eating crabs? I am going to say 30.
Cheeseburger, though.
What was that, Todd?
We didn't say cheeseburger, though.
Correct.
Yeah. 30. I'm putting my finger in the pulse.
Trying to play the game now, aren't you, Brady?
Yeah, I am. I'm taking my feeling. I'm just going to say 30.
So Brady says 30 to pubic lice. Todd?
Higher, Bob.
Todd says higher. Gary asked the question, what's the misery index for talking about it, Brady? Howard's guess, 62.8. Again, some of these things have 0.5, 0.8. I'm not sure how you get the point, whatever.
My mother is listening tonight, so...
Experience. That's how you get the decimals.
Yeah.
Blake says higher. So, there's your picture.
The hell is it? Why is his crotch blowing a bubble?
I think he has a
The bu-
tumor.
The bubble has a louse in it.
Got elephantitis.
Yeah.
So misery index number for pubic lice is
He's gonna pull a Brady and sit on that thing.
43. 43. Of
course it is.
Todd once again with the point. Dominating 5-1. So what are we playing to here? Brady's being left.
Keep going. How long are we into the podcast for?
We're at 140.
Let's keep going.
Let's do a couple more.
All right.
My computer crashing on my topic bought us some time.
All right. So let's see who's up. Todd, you up?
Yes, sir.
Spider crawls into your ear.
Oh, 98.
98. Just short of if a shark crawled into your ear, right?
Yes. I know I'm pretty much giving that point away to Brady, but that's how strong I feel about a spider crawling in my ear.
Mine is lower. I mean, I wouldn't like it, but I that doesn't freak me out as like other things does. I'm gonna say lower.
What if you had a funeral and it farts in your ear, Brady?
What if you're at a funeral and a spider farts in your ear?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
But what if you're at a funeral and it farts in your ear, Brady?
All right, so the scenario is spider crawls into your ear. Todd says 98. Brady says lower. Misery index number is
It's gonna be
44. 44. All right, so Ms. Wilson thought of Cheech and Chong's Buster the Body Crab. We're talking about pubic lice. Candace, OMG, I would die if that happened to me. Just kill me. I'm assuming she was talking about the spider in the ear.
Are you talking about pubic lice, Candace, or the spider in the ear?
Howard says, I'm with you, Todd, on the
Candace
44, that's BS.
easy.
I agree, Candace.
Talking about the spider. Mr. Heron, that actually happened to a teacher in the high school this past year. Well,
Are we talking about pubic lice or the spider in the ear?
I believe the spider in the ear.
We have to have clarification.
And Candace does verify OMG Todd the spider is what she was referring to. And Blake's still laughing about the 5-knuckle shuffle. Can't believe you guys never heard that.
I believe Candace is on vacation right now, so we have a very, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but vacation.
Well, that's cool. Candace, thank you for spending your vacation with us.
I might be wrong. I'm probably.
All right, so Howard asked another question. What if you're getting an animated funeral that causes you to fart while a spider crawls into your ear? That is just ultimate
That old chestnut.
misery. Candace is on vacation, is a little tipsy, and she says, shh. Okay, we won't tell anybody.
Day at the end.
All right.
Love you, Candace. Have fun.
All right, who's up?
Brady.
I always forget. In honor of Candace, whose condition may come about here, well, maybe not this whole scenario, but maybe the hungover part. All right, Brady, you wake up hungover with a tattoo on your ass.
Are we talking about my posterior or my pet donkey?
According to the picture on the card, it would be your posterior.
With that, you got a screwed up looking pet donkey.
Yes. And this would kind of depend on what the tattoo is, but I'm going to say 50.
All right, 50. Brady says, hungover with a wake up hungover with a tattoo on your ass. Todd, higher or lower than 50?
I agree. I mean, if the tattoo says like Backstreet Boys or something,
Or if it's a My Little Pony or something.
But if it's an anchor and it says mom on it or something like that, that's pretty tough. That's a Navy tattoo, right? What you said? What, Brady?
He says Fitty.
I said Fitty.
Why you got to do that? Lower.
Lower than Fitty. So wake up hungover with a tattoo on your ass. Misery index number is 38.5.
Yeah, it's made your ass. Nobody.
5. All right. So our score 6-2. Todd in the lead. And Candace, OMG, that's fantastic. Ass tat, go Brady. Blake's still laughing. I'm not sure if Blake's still laughing at my description of doing business or about the ass tattoo. Howard, as long as it doesn't say property of Bubba, it's a 5.
What if it's an M on each cheek? Well, if it's M on each cheek, if you stand on your head, it might say wow.
Oh my. And the comment was, I didn't even get to read the comment. Candace says, a mom tattoo on your butt is just wrong, Todd. So Todd tried to qualify there with a standing on the head. Couldn't say wow. Mr. Heron said higher there, and actually was lower. So,
Candace, if you're on vacation and you're partaking a little bit, you know, are you going to wake up with tattoos tomorrow?
Hey,
you never know.
If you do, it should say "Play It by Ear" podcast.
Oh,
Absolutely.
That would be
Absolutely.
fantastic.
We're going to plant that seed right there.
There we go.
It should be Play by Ear podcast. Brady, it's not what I meant. Not what I meant.
You don't have the guts, Candace.
All right, Todd.
Just so people know, Candace is a friend of mine. So people who don't know us are probably freaking out, saying, "I can't believe they're saying that."
She says she may indeed do that. Now she says a tat. Now that to be continued. Could that be the Play It by Ear logo?
In fact, any of our listeners, if you want to get a Play It by Ear tattoo,
And you know, we will show the picture evidence on our Facebook page. All right, Todd. Here's your scenario. Once again, it's just simply one word: hemorrhoids.
oh goodness.
Or hemorrhoids if you're nasty.
Hemorrhoids if you're female.
Oh, and hemorrhoids.
Well, what's that disease when? Never mind.
Yeah.
I turned into Harry Carey there for a minute. I don't know why. Oh, hemorrhoids.
Holy cow.
It's Harry Carey. That was Bart Shot, wasn't it?
They're the same person.
It probably was on Bob and Tom. Hemorrhoids, I'm going to say 44.
44. Brady, higher or lower than 44?
One of the most horrific stories I've ever heard was the famous director Kevin Smith telling about the case of hemorrhoids that he got. That he said, you know, broken bones, busted teeth, nothing compared to this, where he cried for like 15 hours, like cried for 15 hours after hemorrhoids had turned into anal fissures. So I'm going to discount his story because it might be coloring me a bit. I'm going to say 30.
So you're saying lower,
Oh,
right?
What did Todd say?
44.
Lower.
Lower. All right. I do appreciate the picture on the card of the flame coming out of the rear of the stick figure. Hemorrhoids. Misery index number is 40. So just barely lower.
Barely.
Brady, barely. So Brady gets the point. So that makes it 6-3, our score. All right. A couple comments. People still talking about the tattoo. Ms. Wilson says maybe it should say "play it by rear." Nice, nicely done. Blake laughing about the Backstreet Boys tat on the rear. All right. Well, gentlemen, we're an hour and 50 in, so
let's go to.
Do a couple more here.
Yeah, let's go to 10.
What's that?
Let's go to 10. That's a good number.
Go to 10. All right. Okay, Brady?
Yes.
I believe, I don't know what your feelings on this now are. I believe once in your life this would have been tragic. Matter of fact, I experienced this with you, and it was tragic earlier in your life, so I don't know what you feel about it now. The scenario is disastrous haircut. Disastrous haircut. First of all, Brady, do you know what I'm referring to when I've said I've experienced that with you?
Are you talking about when the girl not put the clipper on and shaved a bald spot at the side of my head?
I don't think it was all the way bald, because you made a particular reference to what your hair looked like. Do you remember what that reference was?
Is it inappropriate?
No, it wasn't inappropriate.
Well, what did I look like?
You said you looked like you had fur.
Yeah, tell the story. I was rocking a luscious mullet. This was like 1989, and I was visiting the Brown County Fair back from Ohio State, and the girl, I just wanted a little bit of trimming around the on the business side, not the party side, and she forgot to put she forgot to put the clipper on, and she went and it just like I had a fur spot right on the side of my head. And the lady who owned the establishment, was mortified and tried to fix it. And obviously she did not make me pay.
And a dog hat.
Like I had mange.
Now, mind you, this was not only a mullet, but it was permed in the back.
Oh, that's all natural, baby. There was no perm back there.
It was
I had
perm.
wavy locks.
Wavy locks.
Wavy lock.
Which, by
All
the
right,
way, can we stop there for a second? I was looking through the graduation picture. Every year our local paper puts all the graduates. And they're saying, guys, there are more mullets.
Oh, the mullet has made a comeback.
Yeah.
It's gone beyond a comeback. There were. I checked this out. I double checked. I looked at my high school yearbook, and there are more mullets per 100
Now.
than there was back then.
Correct.
Funny, I looked at my high school yearbook and I saw Brady.
And Celia, you looked at her high school yearbook and saw Brady.
And then
There I am in the
looked at his.
background.
And PJ looked at his high school yearbook at Lynchburg and saw Brady.
Yep.
Brady, we should have called the Guinness back in the day. You could be in the Guinness Book of World Records, man. And I'm serious. Yeah.
I'm the Forrest Gump of high school yearbook.
Okay, so to qualify that, so we're telling stories and not giving any context. So
Yes.
Brady appeared in Eastern High School's yearbook for like a 15 years straight period.
Yeah. I think he was.
Anytime there was a homecoming, a basketball tournament game, I was lurking in the background. Like,
I think Brady paid off the yearbook's crew here.
here's the funny part. I was probably in the yearbook more after high school than I ever was in 4 years of high school.
Well, and not to mention someone like me, not that I necessarily was upset about not being captioned in the yearbook very much, but the one picture that was meant for me as a senior, Brady, like, stuck his head in the background. It's like, can I even have any, like, my picture and you...
I think that one.
Well, of course you don't remember. There are so many, you don't remember them all.
I think that one guy's testicle in the track team picture. You see breaking the back. You see the guy's testicle breaking the back.
that was my sister's senior year, by the way.
I don't know what we're talking about. There was a track photo, right?
A wardrobe mishap in the track
This
photo.
is the days before digital editing and everything.
Long before Janet Jackson's wardrobe, there was a particular malfunction.
We have gotten way off on the tangent now. So, disastrous haircut, Brady. Disastrous haircut.
55.
55. Todd.
Speaking from someone who has driven to like 3 great trips in the same night to try to get my hair fixed after haircuts, I'm still gonna go lower though.
Lower.
Yeah.
Lower than 55.
Because the disaster haircut can always be fixed, or can usually be.
Correct. All right. Disastrous haircut. Misery index number is 11.5. 11.5.
See, I think it's a bunch of men that answered though.
That could be.
We are men. That's fair.
We're men, manly men. 7-3. Gentlemen, we're an hour and 56 in.
Plus, there's no way he can come back.
No.
Yeah.
Brady, do you concede the misery index?
Are we going to bet?
We could bet.
Do it.
All right. Okay, you must bet at least half of your points. That's the rules. All right, so we'll bet on one final scenario.
Well, this one we got to put a number, right?
Yes, you do have to put a number. This is the
in mine. I'm doing it all.
All right. All right. You do have to write your bet. And of course, Brady already said his bet, but and you have to write a number to the scenario, and the closest one. We're not playing Price is Right rules, so closest one total, even if you're over. All right. So here's the scenario. You are locked out of your house whilst naked. Locked out of your house whilst naked.
Got it.
So a couple comments here while you're writing. Candace on the mishap haircut says that she thought it was pretty high, 65. Turned out to be 11.5. And Mr. Heron, the mullet was not a good look then. It still isn't. That is correct. So basically these kids have brought back the 1980s in hairstyles and clothing styles.
Yep.
Are
Ironic mullet.
Are rat tails back yet?
Rat tails are not back yet. I figure they may be next.
What about
Rat markers are next.
What about the 3 kids?
The racing stripes, yeah, those have never went away in elementary school.
Yeah, you still see those up on occasion, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes those will pair nicely with a mullet or a rat tail.
Correct. All right. So Brady, you're losing. So we will look at your answer first here, and you have already said you're
Betting it all.
betting it all. So for a possible 6 points or a possible 0, locked out of your house whilst naked. What's your number?
I say 70.
70. All right. Todd, what was your bet? You bet 4. So got the half in. 35 is his number. So locked out of your house whilst naked. Misery index number is 36.5. Todd almost got it on the nose.
I know somebody who that kind of happened to. Where she was outside and had like a towel wrapped around her because she was stepping out on the front porch to let the dog out, and the dog took out after a varmint, and it jerked her arm. It was a large dog, which caused her to drop the towel, and she was mortified.
Gotta hate that.
Like Kyrie.
Gotta hate that.
I'm so sorry.
Sound like Dave.
All right, so our final score: misery index Todd 11, Brady goose egg 0. All right. Good game, gentlemen. Good game.
Good game. Good episode.
Good game.
All right, Miss Wilson, try to keep an eye on the photo bombing and the yearbook pics, but I guess Brady blended too well.
And in fairness, and we joke, but because our 30th was last year, I looked at the yearbook, and it was just kind of just like a lot of it was just kind of like me not photobombing, but I'm just kind of in the background, like drinking a pop or something like that. But there was one very good photo bomb, which I couldn't believe it made it in.
But Steve, and little do we know that was called photo bombing back then.
No.
Yeah, just did it.
Yeah, I am sure that over the years the joke has gotten a little bit
Exaggerated.
But yeah, it's. But I do remember you being in at least one or two of my yearbooks.
Yeah, it's probably because I was supporting your hardwood exploits.
There you go.
Probably cheering in the background for my friend.
Right.
But the thing is, if you're actually in the background, you're supposed to stay in the background, not cock your head up into the picture so you can be seen.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a face for camera.
Funny, and also it was a prom, and you had a tuxedo on, so I'm not sure. I'm kidding. You did.
Yeah.
Although
right.
we had some grown-ass men at our prom back in the day. I remember that.
Yep. All right, so as we round out this show, remember our audio version of this podcast will come out Friday morning at 3 a.m. You can find it most anywhere you can find an audio podcast, and obviously the video side, you see us right now on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and those will be archived on all of those platforms, so you can watch later, or if you know of someone who was not able to watch tonight, again, they'll be archived there, so you can pick them up there. Again, go to our website. You can find our social media links, and visit our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, admin@playitbyyearpodcast.com. Many different ways to interact with us. And as always, we appreciate you being here. And good job, baby, says Celia.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling me baby, Celia. I appreciate it.
Well, that sure as hell wasn't talking to me. But thanks again for my fantastic filling, by the way.
Yes, thank you again, Howard.
Howard.
All right. Once again, we're discussing a new line of merchandise, or we will be. Todd has not been on that discussion yet, but we will be. Again, look for it prior to the end of summer. That's the plan. So, anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen?
I don't think so.
All righty. Take us out.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.